My name is Tanya. I am here from Truthfully Tanya today. Simone, thank you so much for having me, and I am here to discuss anxiety with you. So, how I learned that I had anxiety is I've always been kind of a worrier, and basically what happened was I would get really freaked out whenever someone in my family was sick. So if someone in my family was ill or sick, I would immediately literally pull my shirt up over my face. I wouldn't want to breathe the same air as them. I would get really bad anxiety over this. I'd have really bad anxiety over death, people around me dying. It was always just about future things that have not happened. There's no saying that those things are going to happen, but my mind would just race and come up with all these different worst case scenarios. I didn't know this was anxiety when I first started experiencing it. I experienced it since I was a little girl, and it really reached its peak when I was in middle school. That was a really hard time for me, just with everything changing and puberty and all that fun stuff. So I still didn't realize that I had anxiety. So I went on with my adult life, and I became a little bit less of a worrier, but mainly what I was doing was I was covering it up and hiding it and masking it with things like alcohol and other unhealthy habits. And it's not that it was necessarily problem drinking, but on the weekends in college, I definitely used that to get over my social anxiety. So as I got older, I turned 30 and I had a baby, and then I had a whole different set of anxieties because this time it all centered around my daughter, and if she was okay, was she sick, was everything that she was going through normal. So once again, my mind was always racing to these scenarios. I can't tell you how many times I called the nurse care line, just asking them, is this normal? My daughter just did this. She breathed this way. Is this normal? I was just constantly worrying. And I started to realize that this was not normal when one day my daughter got sick at home and I freaked out. I could hardly be around her. She was vomiting, had the flu, and I was so freaked out over it. And I was so anxious over this. And so I started to feel like something about how I was acting didn't really seem normal, and that other people didn't act like that when their children got sick. And she got better over the weekend and was fine. She went back to daycare. And then her daycare teacher emailed me that next Monday morning saying that her son was now sick, and he was in the same daycare room as my daughter. And when she told me that her son was now sick, I started shaking and my teeth started chattering. And this had nothing to do with me or my daughter. It was the daycare teacher's son, and I freaked out because I knew they were in the same room together. And so I got all worked up thinking, what if my daughter is gonna get sick now too? So after that experience, that's when I was like, I don't want to feel like this. I'm constantly worried. I need to do something. So I called my doctor and I went to the doctor. They prescribed me an anti-anxiety med. I took it for 2 days and I just didn't like it. I felt like I'd been drinking a whole pot of coffee every day. I was jittery and shaky, and it just didn't work well for my body and my body's makeup. And meds can be great for some people. It just didn't agree with my body. So the next thing that I did to manage my anxiety was I called a therapist. So I am so happy I started going to therapy. I've learned a lot of great coping skills. I've only gone a few times, but I already can tell the difference in the way I am and the way I act, and I've gotten access to some really great tools. Another way I manage anxiety is meditation. So I do just a short 6-minute meditation every morning when I wake up, and right before I go to bed I do the same thing. I just do a mindfulness meditation. I close my eyes, focus on my breath. I say in and out as I'm breathing in and out, and I just try to redirect my thoughts to my breath and just remember, this is my body, this is here and now. This present moment is okay and safe, and I'm safe. The other thing that's really helped me is grounding. So when I'm going through a bout of anxiety and I'm in my head and trying to pull myself out of it, I use a grounding technique. There's tons of grounding techniques, but what I do is I focus on my five senses. So I try to think, what can I hear right now? What can I see right now? What can I feel right now? And this is just a way to get you connected with everything around you and to just let go of all of those thoughts racing around your head about the future and what's going to happen if this happens. It brings you back to the present moment to realize, you know what, none of those things are happening right now. I am safe, I'm at peace, I'm okay. So grounding's been really helpful too. And then the last thing that I really do that I think is great is breath work. Just, taking in a deep breath of 4 counts, holding it for 4 more counts, and then breathing out for 6 to 8 breaths. You are literally going to trick your mind if you do that. You can't be anxious and have racing thoughts when you're practicing these deep breathing techniques, because it tells your body everything is okay. It tells your brain everything is okay and you need to relax. So it's impossible for you to continue to freak out if you keep taking those deep breaths. So those are my main tools that I use that have been really helpful for me. So I've been doing a ton of mindset work, and if you want to do any mindset work, I am a transformational coach now. So if you're interested in learning any mindfulness techniques, I encourage you to go ahead and give me a follow on Instagram. Check out my blog, truthfullytanya.com. And if you want to sign up for a free coaching session, you can do so right through my Instagram page if you just follow my link in my bio. Thank you so much for hosting me, Simone, and I hope that you guys learned some great tools to use with your anxiety.